So Eddie Howe just held his morning press conference down here at the club's media centre, and obviously the big subject was the fact that Miguel Almiron's move to Atlanta United is now being confirmed. But the next question is, will he be replaced? Well, Eddie Howe in his press conference today basically saying that won't be the case, and almost the manager here resigned to saying that Newcastle's business is pretty much done in the window going into the last few days, and that's quite a big statement given Almiron's status in the squad. But Eddie Howe saying in his press conference just then in a packed room that basically, Newcastle had to sell Almiron in this window. Basically the reason he wanted to give was PSR. So for Newcastle fans wondering what it's all about, that's what the head coach of this football club is saying, that Newcastle were just in a position where they had to move this player on at this time. This was the moment to do it. And if you go back to the summer, Elliot Anderson being sold, Yankuba Minter being sold, it was to avoid a points deduction. So the suggestion seems to be that if Newcastle didn't sell Mickey in this window, then basically they would be again in that vulnerable position, which nobody really from the football world until the takeover went through fully understood what PSR meant. And Newcastle fans are getting frustrated with this now, because I also asked Eddie Howe, does this now mean that Newcastle are going to be guaranteed that war chest in the summer? He didn't really want to elaborate on that. He said that's a question for another day, but he said they've had to focus on the short term, what they can and can't do in this last 4 weeks, and moving on into the summer they'll have those discussions again. But if you remember, even after Newcastle sold Anderson, sold Minter, I think they only spent £15 million on Sule. Yes, there was money that changed hand for Odious, the goalkeeper, but ultimately Newcastle didn't then go on this window and be able to have the ability to spend. And next summer, we'll have to wait and see exactly what Newcastle do. But Eddie Howe in there not committing to, he's never going to say there's a war chest to spend, but almost not committing to the fact that next summer there's going to be a big shopping spree, because it feels like more players may need to be sold for Newcastle to move into that position. Ultimately, getting to the Champions League is where Newcastle need to be. We've got Fulham this weekend, huge game. It'll tell us a lot about where this team are. Can they keep up the challenge? We hope they can. But I think Champions League qualification is absolutely crucial, because last year Newcastle didn't even get in the Europa Conference League. They have financial issues now because of that. In terms of the revenue, they're going to be delivering a loss compared to the last lot of figures, and ultimately now we move away from this window with Newcastle looking very likely not to bring anybody in at a senior level. So it's all about financial figures, it's all about money, and Newcastle know the only way they're going to do this long term is to get results on the pitch.